Well, hey y'all. Welcome to TLT with Lita. I know we are not at our normal time at 4 p.m. Eastern, but it took me a little bit to get in place today, and I did not want to not have our time together. So come on in, y'all. We got a good one for you today. Got a good one for you today. I'm excited about it. I'm fired up about it. And I'm also excited to share with you all what I have for today. So come on in. Welcome on YouTube. Welcome on IG. Welcome on TikTok. Come on in, y'all. I hope you all can hear me well. I hope nothing's idling, that nothing gets frozen today, because today is a great day. And I want us to receive all that is in store that will help us get excited, help us get motivated, and to provoke us to not just thinking, but to movement. So, welcome to Tuesday Leadership Tips with Lita. Let's go. So, as I was working out earlier, first, let me just say this. Those of you who don't know, I am training for a competition. And so I have to do a little bit more cardio than I normally would. Um, so, I'm really working, not just working in, not just working in uh, business and doing the things I need to do for my business, but I am also working physically in order to be ready for this competition. So there it is. So me getting here every now and then, it may be after our regular time. Sometimes it may be earlier. Um, but I try my best to get here. What I would like, though, is for you all to, if you'll chime in and let me know if there is a time frame that works best for you all to come on in and be a part of the discussion and to provide feedback and input on what we're talking about. That would be really good. Be really great if you all could do that. Not saying that I'm going to take one time over another time. Of course, I'm going to pick the time that best works for me and my schedule. However, I will take into consideration a later time than our regular time. All right. So, again, welcome to TLT with Lita. Our leadership tip today is this: nothing changes until you change. Nothing changes until you change. Every leader wants change. We all want growth in our teams, those that have teams. We want progress in our business. We want transformation and we want to see the results. But here's the truth that many leaders avoid: nothing external shifts until something internal does. I'm going to say that again. Nothing external shifts until something internal does. The environments, the systems, the people, um, those that are around us often mirror the vision or the version of ourselves that we bring to them. Those within our circle, those on our team, they usually mirror the version that we were when we came to them or what we bring to them. Change, real change, starts when leaders stop managing symptoms and start transforming at the source, which is ourselves. When we start transforming at the source, we'll start seeing not only will we transform, but those around us will begin to transform as well. So, this particular discussion that I wanted to have with you all today is really about leaders just having a self confrontation, personal accountability, and most of all, a courageous evolution. And that's not always easy. But we do love to say that we want things or we need to change. We love to say things need to change. Our team, our results, our circumstances. But what if the real shift starts with you? What if the real shift starts with you? Because nothing changes until you change. So tell me, what's one area you've been waiting on change? Just think about it. It should have probably been the first thing to come to your mind. What's one area that you've been waiting to change that might actually be waiting on you? Just think about it for a moment. I don't need you to put it in the chat. I don't need you to do anything but just think about it. What's one area that you've been waiting on change, and that change actually may be waiting on you? So tell me, what's harder, changing yourself or changing others? What do you think is harder, changing other people or changing yourself? So if you think it's harder to change other people, or maybe you think it's harder to change yourself, which one do you think? This is the reality, right? This is a check, if you will. As leaders, we often try to fix the outcomes without first addressing the origin. We want to fix the outcome before we address the origin. And the truth is, you can't create new results with the same mindset that produced the old ones. Okay, someone said it's harder to change yourself or both. I personally think it's easier to tell someone to do something or to change something than it is for you to actually look yourself in the mirror and change yourself. That's my take on it. So change doesn't begin with strategy per se. It doesn't begin with strategy. It begins with self-awareness. It begins with self-awareness. And when you become self-aware, then you know where you are, you know the various things that either affect you, and you know the areas that you affect. So whenever you are self-aware, you have a clearer picture of yourself rather than the clearest picture being someone else. For example, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, that it starts with self awareness. If your team's energy feels low, check your tone. Now, I'm not saying everything that happens on the team is a direct result of you, but much of it is. So if communication keeps breaking down, check your clarity. If progress feels stagnant, check your consistency. These are just some practical examples of what you can look at when you start seeing certain things happening within your organization, within your team, within the areas that you work in. Everything, this is the truth, everything around you reflects something within you. There is something that you can find around you unless you stay by yourself all the time. And even then, that's reflecting something within you. You look around you, look at your team, look at what's going on. There is something that is reflecting you. You may not want to believe it, you may not even like it, but it's the truth. So, what I want to do today before I jump off of here is I want to give you three shifts that leaders must make for real change. Three shifts. The first shift is you got to shift from excuses to ownership. Growth starts where blame ends. Stop saying they and start saying I. You can't lead what you won't own. So you have to shift from excuses to ownership. I did a brief video today, and somewhere in there, somehow I said that you have to let yesterday be the last day that you make excuses for not doing what you know you should be doing, for not doing where it, or going in the area or moving in the area that you know that you should be moving in. You got to shift from excuses to ownership because no one else owns your purpose. It's no one else's responsibility for you to fulfill it. So shift from excuses to ownership. And you can ask yourself, where have you been outsourcing responsibility for the results that you have the power to influence? Where have you been outsourcing responsibility on to something or someone else that you yourself have the power to influence it, the power to change it, the power to make an impact in it? Where's it at? Find that area and shift from excuses to ownership. The second shift is from comfort to confrontation. We know that nothing really great comes out of comfort. Comfort is going to keep you from progressing, it's going to keep you from fulfillment. Comfort is going to keep you from accelerating, it's going to keep you from growth. Change requires discomfort, ladies and gentlemen. It requires discomfort. Leaders who grow are willing to confront their own habits, their own limited beliefs, their own blind spots. If you go find any leader that has grown and ask them how did they grow, they will tell you, I stopped believing the lies. I stopped doing things that kept me from scaling. I started digging in. I started focusing. I started seeing the areas that I was blind to. You can go ask any leader who's successful in any area, and they will tell you that they learn to confront their habits, their beliefs, limited beliefs, wrong beliefs, and their blind spots. So shift from comfort to confrontation, confronting procrastination, confront people pleasing, confront perfectionism. All three of them will keep you from growing, will keep you from progressing. So the third shift that I believe leaders must make for real change is from intention to implementation. From intention to implementation. It should not be a notion for you to move towards that thing that you've been called, created, anointed, equipped, and gifted to do. It shouldn't be a notion. You should be um, very clear, number one, about what it is that you're supposed to be doing or that you believe that you should be doing. And then you ought to uh, find out how to implement that thing that you want to see change in. Thinking about change doesn't create change. Saying you want to change doesn't create change. Everybody will say, well, my intent was to change. Intentions don't work where real change is necessary. If you want real change, you got to do more than think about it. You have got to put action that's going to help you get to that place of change. Start small. That's one thing I would tell anybody. Don't get overwhelmed with trying to change everything at one time. Start small. Small, consistent changes in your habits and in your decision making goes a long way. It goes a long way. Your leadership evolves one intentional action at a time. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to know it all. You don't have to have everything that you need for the change, but you do have to develop some course of action for you to reach a point of change, one intentional action at a time. Nothing changes leaders until you change. And I know it's easier said than done. I'm not telling anybody to think that, oh, you can do that and snap your finger and it's done. Sometimes it takes real work, especially when you're dealing with the three things that I mentioned earlier, that procrastination, people pleasing, and perfectionism. Sometimes it is a process to confront these areas and make a decision not to be crippled and not to be stagnant and not to be held back by them anymore. But it is possible. It's very possible. I want to leave you all with this thought, and then I got to get out of here. You can't lead transformation if you refuse to transform. It's just not going to happen. You can't call your team higher if you're not willing to climb first. Nothing changes until you change. All right, y'all. This concludes our TLT with Lita for today. I appreciate you all. Thank you for joining. And I look forward to the next time. Have a blessed and safe Tuesday evening. All right, y'all. Peace.